Well, hello, and welcome back to the Chamber Vibes podcast. If this is your first time listening, welcome. Let me just give you a rundown of what's going on. So, I'm your host, Foster Garrett, Director of Marketing and Events for the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce. And if you don't know what a chamber is, totally fine. We are, in the short version, a nonprofit membership organization that strives to help the Bedford area prosper by serving and collaborating with local businesses, organizations, and people. And we do that through membership, programming, and lots of other great things, including this podcast. And every week I get to interview a different chamber member to find out what they do and why they do it. And this podcast is recorded right here in beautiful Bedford, Virginia, broadcasting on Grove Street FM and brought to you by Media Squatch. I also want to thank Mark Snowden with Lamar Outdoor Advertising for helping bring this podcast to you. Without sponsors like Mark, we really wouldn't be able to do this. And it's a wonderful way, listening, to get to know the Bedford area in lots of different ways through organizations, people, businesses, services, local government, all sorts of things. You can find it on this podcast. And I always say I come in with just like a tidbit of what I think we'll be talking about. Even when it's things like the D-Day Memorial or the Peaks of Water Restaurant and Lodge, I feel like I know what it's all about. And then it's always shown to me that I really just know such a small part of it. There are so many hidden gems here in Bedford, and I'm excited to bring them to you. So keep listening to this podcast. This episode is going to be a really special one, but every episode is special in some way. So take a gander at this one and go back and listen to the rest. Before we get to the actual podcast, though, I do want to tell you about some of the things that we have going on at the Chamber. If you have been following along for a while now, you know that we like to stay busy. And we have lots of events that we like to put together for not only our members, but for our community as a whole. And this summer, we actually have a bunch of free events, which is really exciting. Later this month, on June 24th, we'll actually have a business roundtable titled Leading with Vision. And all of our business roundtables are free events, like I said, and we co-host them with the Bedford County Office of Economic Development and the Town of Bedford Office of Economic Development. So we bring these great speakers and people and resources together for the benefit of our business community. And we also provide economic updates. There's light refreshments, so you'll get a lot of good coffee and muffins and stuff like that. And we also have built-in time for networking and for Q&As with our speakers. This speaker is going to be Amanda Stanley with the Artisan Leader. And Amanda is an amazing facilitator, coach, and consultant. She is an amazing speaker, and we're so excited to work with her. She owns the Artisan Leader, which is her coaching and consulting business that just continuously grows. And she was also the CEO of a large regional nonprofit right here in our area for 10 years. So she has a lot of experience that she is excited to share with us. If you're looking for a professional development opportunity and you just want to come check it out, or maybe you're new to your career, or you want to just continue your education, this is a great way to do so. It'll be June 24th from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Bedford Area Welcome Center located right here in town. We do ask that you RSVP just so that we can make sure that we don't run out of coffee and that we have a chair ready for you when you arrive. But I hope to see you there. We have some other things that are going on this summer, but you can find all of our events on bedfordareachamber.com. When you go to our homepage, you'll see a lot of stuff about our annual gala, which is our largest event of the year. And that's not set till September 25th, but throughout the summer, we're selling tickets, which are available now on our website, and we'll be promoting our award nominees. We do several award categories, such as Small Business of the Year, and Agricultural Award, and even Boss of the Year. So go online, check it all out. We have a full calendar of events on our website, and at the very end of this podcast, I will release our phone number so that you can call us and ask us lots of questions. So make sure to listen all the way through. But that's enough for me. Without further ado, please allow me to introduce today's guest, Kayla Boone with the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks. It's been a while.
I know, it has. I think it's been like a year and a half.
I don't know the last time I did a podcast. I think I'll fill in for you occasionally if you happen to be out, but it's been a while.
Then it must have been August of last year.
Probably.
Yeah, that was the last time I was out for a week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
But I'll be back in just a few weeks, actually. 6 weeks or so you'll be out?
I'm counting down the days.
So this will be my warm-up for that episode.
Yeah, and you'll have CASA of Central Virginia with you, which is always a great conversation.
Yeah, it is.
But this is your first time being the opposite. You're not the host today.
Yes, I'm the interviewee.
I know. Well, that's what I was saying, listeners. This is a very special episode because I'm making my boss do it.
With very little heads up, but that's okay.
That's what happens when you have a last-minute cancellation.
Luckily, I think both of us could talk about the chamber for 3 to 6 business days.
Absolutely.
So,
well, it's always funny when I have a podcast guest that, like, we talk for a really long time. Like last week with the Red Cross, I think that me and Danielle could have run our own podcast. And so I normally say you could have your own podcast. Yeah. Well, we have our own podcast, but we don't talk about ourselves.
Right.
Which is really the chamber way.
Yes,
for sure. Kayla, before we kind of talk about the chamber, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to lead the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce?
Sure. So my name's Kayla Boone. I serve as the president and CEO of the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce. I've been in this role for coming up on 3 years now. My journey, if you will, to this role was not really a long one. I started working at the chamber pretty much right out of college, but when I was in college, I ran a women's health organization, and it was an executive team of 7 people and then about 125, 150 members in there. So that's when I really started to enjoy like the operational aspect of things, the organizational aspect, just kind of like being behind the scenes, because with the executive committee, there was a marketing person, there was someone who planned recruitment and planned the events, and really my job in that role, it was really different even from what we do now, because my job in that role was pretty much just to support those people. I didn't have to do a ton of work myself, but I chose to because that's who I am. So just, trying to build that organization and keeping things as organized and as efficient as possible really is what I enjoyed about that organization. And then I came to the chamber not long after graduating college. Of course, I had your position now, the marketing and events position. And I don't know, I don't think that the president role was really something that I had initially envisioned. Things just kind of fell into place and it worked out.
It's one of those things where when you're a young professional, you don't really see yourself achieving president CEO status at the age of 23? 22. Yeah. But I remember talking to Patty Jerkis, who was our interim CEO, and it was like one of the very rare times where you were in the office and it was pretty much just me and Patty and Michelle. And Patty was giving us, we were like, Patty, how did you get involved? Were you with the chamber for a long time? And she basically told us like her story. And then she looked at you one day and she's like, Caleb, why are you not running this? And I think that she said that you were very like, what do you mean? Like, why am I not running this?
Right.
And I think she saw a greatness in you and everything that you've said about organization and supporting others and making things very efficient and make sense and purposeful. That's so you.
Yeah. And Patty she was just so fun to work with. I had been at the chamber for probably 8 or 9 months when she came in as the interim president. And I remember I was gone. I was like at the beach or something the week that she actually started. So when I came back the following Monday, I came through the front doors of the office, and our office is really small. There's not a whole lot going on, but I came through the front door and she was standing in the back office where your office is. And I kind of close the door and I see her and she just starts like jumping up and down.
Oh my gosh.
Like, are you Kayla? I'm so excited to meet you. And it was just so fun because it would have been really easy. I was at the very beginning of my career. She had already retired from the hospital. So she was at the end of her career. She wasn't really planning to get back involved with anything like that. And so it would have been easy for us to have like a disconnect.
Yeah.
But we didn't at all. She was able to provide me like the overarching leadership and confidence type lessons, and I was able to help her with the day-to-day operations of the chamber. And I think I had been there for maybe 2 weeks, and she called me, or she had been there for 2 weeks. She called me into her office and she was like, I just wanted to let you know, I told the executive committee they don't need to open a big search for the president. They just need to hire you. And I was like, okay, there we go.
That just gave me goosebumps a little bit.
It was really interesting because, like I said, I hadn't really thought about it that far. I'm not from Bedford, and I went to Virginia Tech, but I'm from Halifax County, so I had just gotten out of college. I wasn't sure if I was going to move back home, if I was going to stay up here, if I was going to go back towards the Blacksburg area. I really wasn't sure. So I was like, all right, well, knowing myself, I don't do anything halfway. So I was like, if I'm going to do this, then it's going to be an all-in, long commitment type thing. But Patty and I just had the best few months working together. And then I officially took over, I think, in December of that year. And I'm sure I've told you, but when I took over in December, it was just me in the office for that whole month, and people are slowing down. Everybody's ready for Christmas. People take off work or whatever. I was in the office getting more work done than some people had probably done all year. I mean, I was redoing everything we had, just trying to research as much as I could. And it really, I think, started us off on a good foot because Michelle started at the chamber, I think, in January in the following year. And then you started in February, March.
The very first week of February.
So, yeah, it was interesting.
Absolutely. Well, 2 weeks in, and Patty looks at you and has already called the executive committee, which is such a Patty move. But the surety, the absolute certainty, you can't help but take that into yourself. And I think that one thing about your leadership is that you're very steady. And when you aren't sure about something, you take time to think about it and chew on it until you are.
Yeah.
And that's part of the fun of working with you, is that I think my biggest weakness is that I'll second guess myself, or I'll be anxious about something and I'm really not sure. But when we put our heads together, we always come up with a great solution or great programming or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I think we just complement each other.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about yourself. Can you tell us a little bit about the Bedford Chamber, and how would you, this is always kind of a tough question, boiling down what the chamber is into easily consumable bits. How would you describe the mission and the role of the chamber in your own words?
So I go back to our mission and vision statements a lot. We talk about it all the time. There are so many things that a chamber can do that you really have to be picky with the things that you choose to do, because it's so easy to get overwhelmed or overcommit, especially when you have such a small staff, which we'll talk about later. But kind of where it all boils down, we're dedicated to being a driving force in our area for business growth, community growth, and at the end of the day, our mission is to try and provide things to businesses that foster growth and foster connection. And those obviously are intentionally vague so that we have the opportunity to continuously update and make sure that we're providing the most impactful things.
And that's something that we've worked on really hard over the past 2.5 years, 3 years, to evolve our chamber, to make it what our members and what our community really needs. Because that's the thing about an organization that's been around for 86 years, and that's just from the incorporation date. Really it's 100 years.
Yeah.
Is you can't keep doing the same thing.
Right.
And especially COVID changed so much. And it's just the two of us at the chamber too. So what can we do that can make an impact, but also isn't going to be too much for us to handle or work ourselves to death? Because we could.
Yeah,
we could.
And I told the executive committee when I first came on, it may have even been before they had officially hired me, but I was just very honest about, I don't I'm not going to keep doing things just because that's how they've always been done. If it doesn't make sense, and like you said, I like to take time to stew on things. If I cannot come up with a reason that it makes sense, it's very hard for me to pour a lot of energy into something. And I think it has been helpful over the last couple years because we've been able to really take a hard look at what we're offering. Some things we've gotten rid of. Some things we've just kind of changed. Other things we said, we really like the core components of this, but how we're doing it's not working. Let's change how we're doing it while we're still offering the same benefit. And I think that people really appreciate that.
Absolutely. I think that we've gotten such a great outpour of responses from people, not only in our membership, but beyond our partners and just people in the community and businesses in the community that see what we're doing. And you and I don't like to brag on ourselves, but it's nice to know when we're on track, when what we're doing is being seen, is being appreciated, is making impact. So another question for you. What do you think sets us apart from other chambers in the region? I think that that's always like a really fun question to kind of answer people, because there are so many different organizations and everybody's doing great things and we all really have the same mission, but how we do it just varies so much.
It does. And I've noticed that specifically about the Bedford area since I've lived here. There are certain disadvantages to working in a small town that you're not from, but there are a lot of advantages. You're able to really come in completely unbiased. You have no personal, I don't know anything about what that building used to be or what that man did 25 years ago. I don't have any idea. So it has really allowed me to come in with like a fresh eye. And what I noticed was there are so many organizations around, not just chambers and similar organizations, but all types of nonprofits that are kind of doing similar things. And like you're saying, they all have the same goal, but they're all kind of accomplishing it separately. But I think what distinguishes our chamber is our comprehensive approach to member support. We offer so many different types of programs and services, and because of that, it ensures that we can really touch each member, and each member, no matter if they're a small business, a large business, a nonprofit, they all have multiple avenues to connect and grow in the area.
Absolutely. I think our programming is, well, I'm biased.
As the person who sets up most of our program,
I think our programming is great. But it is really like, it's been really fun and very rewarding to take what people need and what they want and to actually do something about it. Like, I was asked by several nonprofits, hey, we would like to have some programming that is specific to us that will actually like help us with our organizations. And I was like, okay, well, maybe grant writing would be good for that. And then I started talking to people about it, and then people started saying, yes, we want this. Yes, I would like to be the speaker for this. And then the grant writing workshop that we had as part of our SMART series, which is our educational topic series that we literally started last year and is already amazing.
Yep.
We did that in December. It was the last event of last year, and it sold out. It was packed.
Not a chair open in the room.
I literally had to get up from my chair to give it to somebody that was late, and because there was no other chairs available.
Yeah.
And it was so wonderful because people were, I mean, we try to make everything really interactive, but people were asking questions and telling if they were more experienced. They were sharing their knowledge with other people. They were making connections, saying, hey, contact me if you need help with this. I've done this grant before. I would love to help you with it. And these weren't like grant writers in the crowd. They were other people working for nonprofits or schools or businesses or what have you that wanted to help each other grow and succeed.
Yeah.
And that is like at the heart of what we do.
Yeah, and I think exactly what you're saying. We recognize that each individual sector has their own challenges or their own things that they're trying to accomplish. The small local coffee shop is not trying to accomplish the same thing that Centra or BWXT is trying to accomplish. And so, when we're setting up our programming and our different events and things, we try to tailor our services so that we can provide some things for the small businesses, some things for the nonprofits, some things for large businesses. And because of that, we're able to constantly stay connected to all of our members because we're not just catering to one group.
We've touched on this a little bit, but I think that I really want to use this episode as a way to like just tell people about what chambers are in general.
Mm-hmm.
From a broader perspective, why do you think that chambers are still relevant in today's like digital first world? And I think that really ties into everything that we've talked about and will talk about. We've talked about wanting to evolve and keep things relevant, but I'm really curious to hear it like from your perspective.
Yeah, so a few different things. I think that chambers are still vital because, one, they provide a trusted network of businesses. We joke a lot that people don't know what a chamber of commerce does, and while that is a little bit true, there are a lot of people out there that think, I need a plumber. I'm visiting this new town. I'm thinking about moving to this new town.
Mm-hmm.
I need a bunch of business connections. Who am I going to call? The Chamber of Commerce. So while we do have some funny phone calls of people asking us things that don't really apply to what we do, we get a lot of phone calls of people that are like, I just moved to Bedford. I don't know anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I need someone in this career. Can you point me in the right direction? So just by being part of a chamber of commerce, you have your name listed in our member directory. But if we know you personally, that makes it so easy for us to refer you. So even if you join and you don't ever do anything with us, by simply being a member, you are automatically part of this network, this trusted network of businesses that people, even if they've never heard of Bedford, Virginia, and they're just stopping by on a road trip, they stop here, they will trust that business by being part of the chamber. So that's one thing. Another thing is we're living in a time where the digital world is just continuing to increase and advance, and that has its advantages, definitely, but I think that personal connections and community engagement are more important now than they probably have ever been, not only because of the digital fact, but also we're still living with the effects of COVID and just how people changed throughout those, years. And the personal connection, the face-to-face interaction, it's really dwindling. So it really makes a big difference to a lot of people. And then my third point is that chambers can offer so many different resources and support and opportunities that can help your business either navigate challenges or thrive in a competitive landscape. Like going back to, if we know you personally, that can also kind of set you apart because we can say, we know Woody at Media Squatch. We know he does a fantastic job at what he does. So I would absolutely love to recommend, you go talk to him. It makes it a lot easier for us to recommend you if we know you personally.
Absolutely. And I think everything you've said is so valuable, and all of those things come up through our podcast in general. We talk a lot about COVID and about how it has changed things, but also how it's made us really seek community more, and that we realize through isolation and disconnect that we need to have camaraderie. We need to have people that are on our side, even if we don't personally know each other. We need to have face-to-face connection because without it, like, it just, life does not feel as good. Work does not feel as good.
Yeah.
And I think, especially in Bedford, the face-to-face connection and going up to somebody and shaking their hand and saying, hi, I'm so-and-so, I work here. Like, it makes such an impact. And we see that especially through the Forest Leads group. Like Bill Moss, who, if you don't know Bill, you'll probably still meet Bill. Even though Bill's retired now, he's still around.
He's still
around.
And
he's still wearing his Foster Fuels red.
Yes.
But he talks about how every person in that Leads group, not only do they share referrals and, connect with each other every 2 weeks, but they trust each other. And what is you say the phrase better than I do.
They always say that anyone in the Forest Leads group they would feel comfortable recommending their grandmother to.
Yes. And how many business people can you say that about?
Right.
Especially if you've never been a part of a chamber or any type of business group. Like, even when it's like a small showing at like a networking event or something, you still connect with them so much and you learn so much about them. And there have been times where I'm like, I'm never gonna need to refer anybody to like this sharpening business or to this specific insurance place. I always do. And not only through the chamber, which people ask us for a lot of recommendations, but through my personal life too. And it's really cool to kind of see people thrive off of, like, whether they've been here 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 20 years.
Right.
If they've been a chamber member, like, I really do feel like it has an impact on their business, even if they don't participate. But it is about participation.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely encourage active participation whenever possible. I think that there can be a little bit of a misconception of, if we join the chamber, we're just committing to one more thing. We have to have a staff person that can only focus on chamber stuff. It's just so much. And it really is just whatever you put into it, you're going to get out of it. So, like I said, just by being a member of our chamber, there are a lot of things that you automatically get, like that online directory. There are a ton of people that go there before calling to just try and get a name or a contact that way. But there are a ton of things that you get automatically just by signing up as a member, paying your dues. And we even went so far, maybe last year, to kind of break down our benefits of this huge list of things that you can do in 15 minutes from your desk. And it really was a long list. When we started to really think about the things that we offer and how much effort it takes, there were a ton of things that you can do from the comfort of your office, from your house, wherever you want to do it, in 15 minutes or less. And it really can help boost, your exposure in the community.
Absolutely. There were so many things when we were writing that we're like, oh my gosh, we didn't even think about this. And a lot of it is marketing.
Yeah.
That's something that I think we do, honestly, a really good job of, is offering different opportunities to promote yourself, not only within the chamber, but outside of it too, to our community. And it's everything from uploading an event to our calendar online, to submitting a graphic for our newsletter, to improving your SEO on your web listing, getting an ad for the community guide, putting out a news release. There's so many different things.
There's so many things, and they're not, like, some of them cost a little bit extra, yes, but some of them are completely free to members. Some of them take a little bit more time than others. Some things you don't have to put any time into it, hardly. There's other things like the podcast and our radio show where you record it one time and then you can keep using that link as many times as you want. And it really can, I'd tell people when they're coming on this podcast, make it kind of an overall, like, who my business is, what we do, how we got started, because you can always use that.
Yes.
If you're talking about how your business got started and your core values and the main overarching things that you offer, you could use that for years and not have to update that episode.
And I love that Woody works with us on this stuff, because one of the things that I really wanted was for them to be able to download the audio directly from Grove Street FM, and they can. Right. I do it every week. I download the audio. I get I actually have an app that transcribes it in its entirety, and then I work up a recap based off the transcript, and Woody puts it through software now that will give you a timestamp for where our conversation starts for certain things. So it makes it really easy for you to snip it, reuse it, put it on your website, using your social media. You can do audiograms. You can put it, like, just put the straight up audio on there if you want. But it's so unique, and it's hard to find something like that you can just, like, do at no extra cost.
Right.
And yeah, I think that, of course, we want people to participate. I think that we get a little bit better with people participating every year, because people, once they come to one thing or they do something with us, they see the value in it, even if they've already joined, but maybe they've been nervous or they just haven't had time.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get asked, do you have membership meetings, like a monthly meeting? And I'm like, well, we have our board of directors meeting, but it's not open. You know what our membership meetings are, though? It's every single event. Every single event is an opportunity for you to connect with us, to connect with your fellow members, to connect with other people in our community, to connect with our board members, our partners with the with local government and with the schools, because we do work very closely with them. Sometimes people think we're part of the government. No, we're not. We're just a nonprofit, but we do have strong connections as the voice of local business. And there's just there's so many connections to be made. There's so many opportunities. If you're nervous, don't be. Seriously, you can come find me at the door. You can find Kayla at the door. Our ambassadors are always available. There are volunteers and the faces of the chamber, and we would all be happy to take you around the room, connect you with some people that we know. If you tell us a little bit about your business, or if you're looking to do something specific, whether it be find sponsorships for an event that you're doing, or unroll a new product, or just if you're looking for someone in particular, we can help you with that.
Yeah.
We can make it easy.
And I think that is another kind of misconception, is that people just assume the ones who are constantly going to these networking events and events like that are just very extroverted. They just love to meet new people and talk to new people that they've never met. I really don't think that's the case, because I know personally I'm very introverted. I can kind of fake it for a little while and, put on kind of that extroverted front for a little bit, but right after that, I'm going home to my dogs for the next while to kind of recover from that experience.
The amount of times that I'll look at you and be like, are you drained? And you're like, yeah, I need to go and take a bath immediately.
Yeah, it's just, people are just different. And I think, there's nothing wrong with being more on the quiet side, more on the introverted side. And that doesn't mean you can't come to a networking event. Even if you come in, find me or Foster, and we'll just talk to you the whole time. We'll take you over to one person at a time so you can, talk in a small group or something like that.
We'll get some food. There's always food. And we admit that it's awkward sometimes.
And usually coffee.
Coffee makes it so much better.
And we did learn in the grant writing session in December that nonprofit professionals drink an absurd amount of coffee.
I had to phone Kayla to come bring us a whole nother pot because we ran out, and it was a lot of coffee.
It was a lot of coffee. I was frantically in the office because, if you order the big box from Joe Bean's, it takes a little while. Few minutes. It's not a long time, but I was like, I feel like I can make it faster at the office. So I'm in there just frantically. And of course, the big coffee pot was not working at the time. So I made individual cups of coffee through the Keurig.
Wait, you did it with the Keurig?
Filled up.
Oh my God.
And I think I did that like twice so that I could bring the 2 big jugs. But yeah, that was a fun experience.
We're burned out, the nonprofits, guys. We're tired. We do a lot.
Need the coffee.
We need the coffee. Well, that's something that I kind of wanted. We talked about it a little bit, but we joke a lot about being like a 2-woman powerhouse. But what do you think it's like working with such a small but mighty team?
Well, when you have such a small team, everyone has to wear multiple hats. And I think that's just a known fact. Nonprofit or not, you're going to be wearing multiple hats. But because of that, I think it fosters a really close-knit environment. And it also, I think it really depends on individual people.
Yeah.
Because one of the big differences is personality, work ethic, efficiency. Those are things that you can't coach. You can't teach people how to work more efficiently or care about what they're doing. But because our personalities line up so well, we both really care about what we're doing. We both work extremely quickly and efficiently, but still, accurately, and we still put a lot of thought into what we're doing. We just can execute things in a really good way. That, those things, the way that we communicate so effectively, we step in to support each other, any little thing that pops up, you have to be able to do that. So if you don't have a good work ethic and you don't do things efficiently and you don't communicate very well, then our setup would probably be a nightmare for you. But the two of us just work together very, very well.
And I think, like what you said about stepping in for each other, I think that we do such a great job with that because, like you said, we are 2 people doing the work of 5 people. And we have 400 members and thousands of people under them. And not only do we work for our members, but we work for our community too. So it can be like a big job, not only for 2 people, but for 2 young professionals too. Yeah. I think that sometimes it feels daunting. Not so much 2.5 years in, but sometimes I think people are very surprised. But we always, like, if there's something where I'm like, I can't get a hold of somebody, or I just don't have the energy to do it today, or I think maybe you can do it better, I really don't have any fear in asking you. And I think that we also try really hard to prevent burnout. Because that is really, like, the thing about going so hard all the time is there have been times where I'm like, how have we been doing this for so long? Like, I feel like I need like a month off. Yeah. And especially like in the past, like this year, I think we've had really great control and impact with our programming. But when we were still trying things out and doing things from the past, we got really busy. Yeah. Like, it was to the point where we were having like 2 events a week at some time. Like, sometimes we would have like 3 or 4 events depending on ribbon cuttings and stuff like that. But that is just insane.
It's a lot, and it's not realistic to expect to keep that up for a long period of time. We still go through busy seasons. Even like later this year, we'll have our job fair, our Bedford forum, and our gala within like
2 weeks of each other.
Like very close together. So we'll have those times where things are really quick, but I'm very big on like work-life balance. I think there are a few different things. I've been really influenced by different managers and things that I've had, but I also listen to a lot of podcasts. I read a lot of books and articles and different things from just different people's perspectives, because I think when you get into a role like this, it can be easy to forget what it's like being on the other side of it and just step into that, like, quote unquote typical boss role where you're like, you do this, you do that, but I'm very big on work-life balance. I don't think that you need to be sitting at your desk for 8 hours a day straight to get things done. And that's why pretty quickly I implemented the summer Fridays thing where we close our office at 12 o'clock on Fridays, because I was thinking that maybe doing that, having Friday afternoons open into yourself in the summer, would encourage, I had multiple employees at the time, but I thought that it might encourage you to, I don't want to say work harder, but like
get stuff done,
not push stuff off until the end of the week. But if you get your stuff done Monday to Friday at lunchtime, then go take Friday afternoon off and enjoy it and do what you want to do and start off your weekend. And that exact thing happened. Yep. And it worked so well that I turned it around, and we don't even do summer Fridays anymore. We do year-round Fridays where we close the office at 12 o'clock. And just, giving that flexibility is really nice. But again, it goes back to the person. Like, there are a lot of people out there that have had negative experiences with employees working remotely. They're like, oh, if you're working from home, you're not actually working, you're not actually doing anything. And I'm sure that is the case for some people, but I know that when you are working from home or you go to the coffee shop to work, you're actually working. Yes. We're constantly in communication. And so I don't feel the need to like micromanage every little thing that you're doing. I don't need you to be on the computer from 9 to 5 every single day, because I know that you're getting things done.
And I appreciate that trust. Like, and I don't, it goes both ways, but I think it comes back not only to personality and work ethic, but our commitment to what we do. Right. Which is serving our members, really. And I get asked sometimes, because I am from Bedford, and it's interesting when people find that out. They're like, oh, you came back. Because I went to UVA. People thought I was gonna go do like like things in cities or elsewhere not come home to Bedford. And I think that's like really valid to have that question. But for me, I feel like very committed to my community. I see it as a form of public service. No, I don't work for the government. I'm not an administrator. I'm director of marketing and events, and I do a lot of fun things, and I get to be very creative.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that I do where I take our mission, our vision, and I execute it through whatever means necessary, whether it be doing a podcast or going to a members event or planning something for us, or like it's really interesting to see, even if it's just a small impact, even if it's just helping somebody hire one employee at the job fair, or spreading the news about something, or just giving a referral. Like it's just a way for us to make our community stronger. And I think that's something that I've always really wanted to do. Growing up here, there's like a lot of things that I saw that were needed, or that I needed.
Yeah.
And granted, this is like a really small way to do so through my job, but it's convening people, collaborating with people, working together for like a greater cause. I think it really hits home. Yeah. Not just for me, but for both of us.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I know we can talk for so long. Jeez. Sorry to our listeners. I've been having really long podcasts lately, but I hope you've enjoyed them. Kayla, I want to kind of boil it down a little bit. So feel free to interject if there's anything else that you want to talk about.
Okay.
But what would you say to someone that either hasn't joined the chamber and either didn't know about us or didn't have a good comprehension of what we did before this? And I hope that this was helpful for you to elucidate what we actually do. What would you say to them about joining, or if they have joined but they're not involved? What would you say?
Probably a few things.
Okay, just a few things.
Yeah, few. One, it's never too late to start engaging. So, we have a lot of members on our membership list that have been part of the chamber for years and years and years. And it maybe at one time they were pretty active. Maybe they haven't been active with us for 10 years, but they have, they keep paying their dues, and they're listed on everything, and they receive our newsletter and everything, but we don't really have that personal connection. It's never too late to do that. We are constantly meeting new people, constantly getting businesses more engaged with the chamber. So don't feel like, even if you've been around for a long time and you feel like you should know what we do, there's no issue with calling us and saying, hey, we've been chamber members for a long time. I don't really know what you offer as benefits right now. Could we set up a meeting? We're always glad to meet with people. You can come to us. We'll come to you. We'll send you an email if that works better. We can mail you things. We really try to meet people where they are. So don't feel like you have to put a ton of time and effort into it to start engaging. We offer a huge range of programs and services that they're tailored to different interests and for different schedules. We have gotten a lot of feedback in recent years. Really, I think a lot of it is post-COVID type stuff, but it seems like people are more interested in events that are during the work day. Yes. So we have really moved away from the business before hours, business after hours. We'll still do things like that occasionally, but we don't do it as frequently as we used to. But with that being said, if that's what works best for you, I'm glad to meet you. I met a member. It was when Patty was here. So I had been at the chamber for less than a year, and we met a chamber member at 7 or 7:30 in the morning out in Big Island. And I had never been out there, by the way. And it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. I would prefer not to meet at 7, but my point is, if you need to meet outside of business hours, I'm happy to meet you, get a cup of coffee, meet you after hours, if that is what really works better for you. But anytime you can just reach out and we can help you kind of identify some opportunities that align with your mission and goals. Another thing about chambers of commerce is that so many of us offer so many different things that it's almost impossible for you as a business owner to take advantage of every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
No one joins a chamber with the intention to take advantage of every single thing that they do. They join with normally a couple things in mind. They want more exposure. They want more connections. They want to work with their legislators and do some advocacy work. So if you reach out to us, we can kind of help figure out what your goals are and give you some specific things that you might be able to do with us. My last point to joining the chamber and being involved is just encouraging businesses to remember that your involvement not only benefits your business or your organization, but it also enriches our entire community.
Absolutely. And that's something that I wish we had more time to talk about because you and I are always doing things, like whether it be with our school system or with BARC, which is Bedford Area Resource Council, or Department of Social Services, or the Bedford Area Welcome Center, or the Economic Development Offices. We're always doing something that is not like something that we highly publicize, like whether it's connecting teachers to something or helping with CT signing day, or even just answering questions or giving feedback or attending like a little like work session. Like we're always doing something.
Yeah.
We were always busy. We were always advocating for our members. We're always trying to promote Bedford. And people ask us about it. Ask us. There's so many things. This is something I talked to Woody about last week. We have so much to promote that it is impossible for us to tell you every little thing that goes on.
Right.
We really should do an annual report, which keep in mind, we've been really working hard on the chamber for the past 3 years. So we've been trying to get our stuff straight before we can tell you what we're doing. But you would be amazed. Yeah. You would truly be amazed. We are just staff of 2, but we really couldn't do any of what we do without our great board of directors, without our ambassadors, which are volunteers, our committees. So yeah, that's a big part of what we do is convening people to work together. We're an organization of leaders.
Yeah.
Well, Kayla, I don't have much else that I want to touch on considering we've spoken for a full hour.
Yeah, we have been going for a while. The only other thing that I wanted to mention, since this podcast was mostly about me and the chamber, I wanted to turn it to you for a sec.
Oh gosh.
And just kind of let you know, I was looking through some of the things that we might talk about today, and one of them was a favorite memory of working together.
I was wondering if you were going to do that one.
It might be a little bit of a cheating answer because it's not a specific moment in time, but over the time that you've been here, seeing you grow and develop as a person and as a professional has by far been my favorite thing of working with you. We just have gotten so close over the years. We know each other so well. We always joke about how vastly different we are for being the exact same age. But the more that we talk, we are so similar in a lot of ways. And just going from, you weren't an event planner when you started at the chamber. You had marketing experience, but you were willing to just jump right in, and you did. And now you can do all of the events without any of my help if you needed to, So just seeing you kind of develop that confidence and kind of find out like your professional voice has just definitely been my favorite thing of working with you. But we appreciate you, me and the board and the executive committee and everyone, all that you do for the chamber.
Thank you. And I really wouldn't be able to work the way that I do and be who I am without your support. I think you've taught me a lot. Like I said, you're a very steady person, but you also do such a great job of like giving me feedback when I need it and reassuring me when I need it, but also helping me set boundaries and look at things differently. And that's something that I really needed when I first started because I wanted to do so much.
Right. And
sometimes I would get myself in situations where I'm trying to be helpful and it's just not working out. It's not working in my favor. And I really appreciate it. I feel I love this job and it's because of you.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Of course. I didn't have a specific moment in time either where it's my favorite time working with you, but
I think the first year was just a blur.
It was just a blur. I don't know how we did it. But now I know that if I have a situation, I can go tell you. And if you take your glasses off and set them on the table, I know you're pissed. You're about to have my back. Well, Kayla, this has been really fun. I think we need to do this more often.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you for joining me today.
Of course.
And this is normally when I ask, like, how should people get in touch with you? But it's the same way that you get in touch with me. If you want to learn more about us at the Chamber, you can call us at 540-586-9401, or you can visit our website, bedfordareachamber.com, for information about our mission, which we've told to you in detail, and the perks of becoming a member, which we've also told to you in some detail. But also on our website is a full directory of our membership, which is helpful for finding all sorts of great things in the region, including the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce. Yes, we're listed in our own directory.
Yes, we are.
But that's all for today. Thanks so much for listening, and keep an ear out for the next Chamber Vibes episode.